I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and their continuing connection to land, sea and community. I pay my respects to them and their cultures and to their elders, both past and present. It gives me great pleasure to launch the annual report. Over there. The Department's annual report is not just a statutory requirement, it provides an opportunity for us to reflect on and celebrate the achievements of our department. It's great to see so many staff here to launch the Department's annual report for 2014-15. In 2014-15, our department advised on and implemented environment policy to support the government in achieving a healthy environment, a strong economy and a thriving community now and into the future. 4 outcomes: clean land, clean air, Antarctica and clean water define this commitment. Together with our corporate outcome, they frame the department's performance in 2014-15. 1 department, 5 outcomes, and by any measure this has been a year of achievements. So let me give you some facts and figures that indicate our performance over the year. The first figure is 0. In May 2015, the UNESCO World Heritage Committee decided unanimously to keep the Great Barrier Reef off its World Heritage in Danger list. A big good 0. This was thanks to the credibility of the Reef 2050 Long-Term Sustainability Plan, which we developed with the Queensland Government and stakeholders. The Reef 2050 Plan is a framework to guide the long-term protection and management of this outstanding and fantastic World Heritage Area from 2015 to 2050. Let me go, the next figure is 1, as in one-stop shop. Under the one-stop shop, states and territories will be accredited to assess and approve projects under national environment law after meeting the full requirements of the Commonwealth law. It's expected to save business around $400 million a year and has the potential to improve environmental outcomes by supporting states and territories to incorporate Commonwealth objectives. At 30th of June 2015, new or updated bilateral agreements were put in place with each state and territory. Implementation is subject to Parliament passing amendments to legislation and the completion of approval bilateral agreements. In 2014-15, the Green Army program began delivering on-ground environment and heritage conservation work projects, and that's another figure, 3,034. 3,034 young Australians are participating in Green Army projects. In the 3 rounds of the program to the 30th of June 2015, over 700 projects have been approved. 329 of these have commenced or were completed at the 30th of June 2015. And the last figure I'll highlight is 8.8 million. That's how many trees will be planted under the 20 Million Trees program over 3 years as a result of the funding committed in 2014-15. And the aim of the program is to establish 20 million trees by 2020. Our annual report highlights many other achievements and milestones that mark 2014-15. Our diverse work spans environmental policy and regulation, program delivery and scientific research. We delivered and supported key government climate change measures, including reform of the renewable energy target, repeal of the carbon tax, and legislating and launching the Emissions Reduction Fund. We've worked closely with industry and the community to develop 15 new methods to support verifiable emissions reduction projects across the country. We progressed the government's agenda internationally through the submission of the 2015 National Inventory Report under the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and on negotiations towards a new post-2020 climate change agreement. We listed threatened species, ecological communities and heritage sites under the Environment Protection and Biodiversity Conservation Act. We regulated hazardous chemicals and waste. And with the appointment of a Threatened Species Commissioner and the development of a Threatened Species Strategy, we've established a new approach, a new national approach to recovering threatened species. We've supported Australia's national interest in Antarctica with world-class science and logistics, and evaluated bids to replace our 25-year-old icebreaker, the Aurora australis, also known as the Orange Ruffy. We've celebrated the 25th anniversary of Landcare. We've continued to support local people taking local action to protect the environment and to make agriculture more sustainable through the National Landcare Program. The government's provided over $450 million over 4 years to 56 to regional natural resource management organisations as part of the National Landcare Program. And these regions will deliver $120 million of this funding to local projects managed by community groups. We've worked with states and territories to draft a national clean air agreement which will help reduce air pollution and improve air quality through cooperation between industry and all levels of government. Together with the Murray-Darling Basin Authority, we led the Australian Government's engagement on water reform in the basin. In 2014-15, we administered payments to basin states of more than $30 million for meeting performance milestones under the National Partnership Agreement on implementing water reform in the Murray-Darling Basin. More than 1,500 on-farm irrigation upgrades are underway or complete, and through off-farm projects, over 10,000 businesses benefited from upgrades to their irrigation systems. As at the 30th of June 2015, nearly 2,000 gigalitres, or 4 times the volume of Sydney Harbour, had been recovered. Of the more than 2,300 gigalitres of environmental water in the Commonwealth's accounts, around 44% of this was used in 49 watering actions in 11 catchments in the Murray-Darling Basin. Positive impacts are already being seen. Threatened native fish are once again migrating and reproducing. Populations of migratory waterbirds are recovering in the basin. Native vegetation is regenerating and local water quality is improving. And all of this is important for local communities. We administered water infrastructure projects through the Great Artesian Basin Sustainability Initiative to cap bores and replace open channels, and initiated new irrigation developments in Tasmania. We strengthened the science underpinning regulatory decisions on water-related impacts of coal seam gas and large coal mining developments. We published a further 12 research products, providing a better understanding of the potential hydrological and ecological impacts of coal seam gas and coal mining development. We have positioned ourselves as an effective and resilient organisation delivering the government's priorities. We've transitioned to a 3-group organisational structure and strengthened and streamlined our governance, internal management and accountability systems. We've delegated decision-making downwards, as it should be, and made changes to improve management structures. We've increased the capability of our staff to develop policy and to undertake project, financial and risk management. The department developed and improved its corporate work, health and safety management system to reduce risks and improve our health and safety performance. We've convened a new Management Safety Assurance Committee, and senior executive service members are championing work health and safety across the organisation, promoting awareness and health and safety policies and procedures. And to better serve the public, the department has strengthened its focus on community engagement, including using online and social media platforms such as Citizen Space. And it's not only about figures, facts and functions and systems. It's been our professional and dedicated people, you, staff throughout the organisation, who've made all these achievements in 2014 and 15 possible. You've drawn together the community, business and researchers to develop and deliver policies and programs. New initiatives have sought to sustain and strengthen the capability of our workforce, and to embrace a culture of innovation. We've sought to close the gap on Indigenous disadvantage through our ongoing partnerships with Indigenous Australians in our policies, programs and operations. We've designed our programs, like the Green Army, to encourage Indigenous participation. We've worked with traditional owners to manage natural resources, and we're committed to engaging Indigenous business in our work by joining Supply Nation. And in conjunction with Supply Nation, we were proud to host the first Indigenous business trade show targeted at the Commonwealth. We've appointed an Indigenous Development Coordinator to help develop and implement a new Indigenous employment and capability strategy. So the department, you, has achieved much over 2014-15. And the annual report is an achievement too. In our portfolio, we've prepared 13 annual reports for 2014-15. This wouldn't have been possible without the dedication of the 2014-15 annual report team, Rochelle Christian, Patricia Ludwig and David Andrew, the designers, typesetters and printers who've worked with them, our film crew, all divisions, particularly their coordinators who've contributed and cleared content, parliamentary services, the engagement and advice and client services teams who've all helped to ensure our hard copy and our increasingly important online version go live on time. And finally, the guidance of the Executive Board and the Governance and Performance Committee. So it gives me great pleasure to launch the Department's annual report, 2014-15, and I invite you to read our performance story and share in our achievements.